Okay, well that definitely helped you figure out the title of this video. I mean, if you didn't already see the title of the video, you could have figured it out on your own, but, something like that. Anyway, what is up, guys? It's your boy Alex, and welcome back to the Brave Lionheart channel. More specifically, welcome back to the Lionheart Review Corner. Yes, we're back with another video, and I know it's been a while since I've done a review for, something like that. I know my last review didn't really go too well. I kind of messed up on a few things, but since it's something that I know a lot about and we're going to be talking a lot about it, let's just get out of the way. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we are finally doing a review on the Mortal Kombat 2021 reboot! Or, we'll just call it Mortal Kombat because it's a video game adaptation. But yes, today we are doing a review on the Mortal Kombat 2021 movie. I've been waiting so long to be finally talking about this movie. Little known fact, certain reviews that might not get out as well because I want to wait a little while till they, are old enough to talk about, or at least close to being old enough to talk about, once a lot of people have seen it. Though this will be a spoiler warning, people, if you have not seen the movie yet. I highly recommend you don't watch this video, you go watch the movie if it's still in theaters, or if you have the HBO Max streaming service, go watch the movie, just before you watch this, because this is going to be spoiler territory again. So, yeah, Mortal Kombat.
It is time to test our might with Mortal Kombat. Yes, the wait is finally over, people. Mortal Kombat 2021 is finally here, and I'm a little bit excited about it. Ever since all the updates for this movie, all the cool stuff that they've been saying about it, and, some of the negative stuff about the costumes, where that was where most of the budget actually went for this movie. But other than that, it is finally here, and I am so excited to be finally talking about it with you guys, and I hope you're ready to enjoy.
And now, thanks to my magical ninja teleporting skills, we can finally start the review. Although I'm just kidding, I don't really have magical ninja teleporting moves, it's just video editing. You guys should know that by now. So, without further ado, let's make our registration to Shang Tsung's island and prepare to face the terrors of Mortal Kombat! You already knew I did that, so it's no use doing it again. So, now normally since this is a Mortal Kombat movie, you think it would start off with the infamous Techno Syndrome theme song. Sadly, this movie does not do that. This is already going to get minus points for not doing that. Freaking movie. Sorry, no. But it actually starts off with something that was already leaked in one of the updates for the movie. That, of course, being the dreaded backstory of Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Yes, in one of the updates I did mention that we will be getting, that this movie does do a backstory for them. Like, the first 10 minutes of it, they basically do that. Anyway, so before we knew him as the dreaded, evil, semi-anti-hero Scorpion, he was a normal man known as Hanzo Hasashi. And apologize if I do get the names wrong for the Japanese names, something like that, because I am not fluent in Japanese whatsoever. I try my best with it when I'm singing Japanese things, but, something like that. And of course, we see he lived a lovely life with his family, his son, Satoshi, and his wife. Don't really remember his wife's name. Though true Mortal Kombat fans who are watching this right now will probably know her name, since I don't. So let me know in the comment section down below if you know her name. Anyway, moving on with that, he's also being guarded by two of his Shirai Ryu members. Or some people pronounce it Shirai Ryu. It's pronounced Shirai Ryu. Again, probably messed it up. I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comment section. But yes, only two members of his Shirai Ryu clan. Well, technically, I guess we're also counting him and his family, so that's 4 extra members, so that's 6 total in the whole clan. Yeah, I can see why the Lin Kuei easily killed them all. Speaking of the Lin Kuei, they end up actually killing most of his members. And of course, they jump straight to killing Scorpion's family. Yeah. I mean, you knew in the backstory that his family was killed by the Lin Kuei. Or, in the true fashion of, like, true Mortal Kombat fans knowing. Or, you know what, I'll mention it, again, if no one's played the Mortal Kombat games, I'll mention it at the end of the video, or at some point in this review. Something like that. But, anyway, so, in turn, Scorpion's mad, and we get our first fight scene of the movie, and it's pretty freaking bloody. I'm not gonna lie. It's bloody, it's gruesome, it's graphic, and I freaking loved every second of it. This was also mentioned in the update that the first 10 minutes of the movie were going to be very, very bloody, and they were not lying. And surprisingly, Scorpion does well taking out the Lin Kuei members. Not so much when it comes to facing Sub-Zero. And their first fight scene is actually really well done. Really well choreographed. Sadly, they don't use their powers. Again, though, Scorpion doesn't get his powers until he becomes said Scorpion when he goes to the Netherrealm. Something like that. Yeah, so not really much of a spoiler because we know this happens to him. Scorpion dies. Or Hanzo Hasashi dies by the hands of Baihan or Bihan. I probably mispronounced that. It's been a long time since I played Mortal Kombat, so we'll just basically get on with that. So yes, Sub-Zero kills Scorpion and just punks out and leaves him to die as his soul is dragged to the Netherrealm. Pretty much also known to us, Raiden appears and takes Hanzo's youngest daughter. Where to? The movie never explains. Yeah, the movie doesn't really explain what Raiden does with the daughter. I'm guessing he's preparing her for the tournament or the next tournament after once this tournament's done. Also, keyword tournament. You're going to find out that in a bit. Anyway, so after seeing a pretty cool logo we've already seen in the images before, we cut to our main character for the film. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Cole Young, an underground mixed martial artist who was a champion in his time and was good at fighting, but after one fight he pretty much just lost it, and now he's just an amateur, really bad mixed martial artist because he easily taps out in his fight against some random guy that he's fighting. Yeah, really great first impression of your main character movie. Bland and boring. I'll give him credit though, he has some decent fighting moves. So decent in fact, it gets the attention of one Major Jackson Bridge. Or Jax as we all know, because we don't want to call him by his full title. Although because he is a lieutenant, then, you know, or a major basically, he probably would kill if you don't use his full title if you joined his corps. Something like that. While that's going on, we cut to Outworld of all places and meet our main villain for the film. Of course you knew it wasn't going to be Shao Kahn because they're saving him for the sequel, which I'm sure is coming. It's actually Shang Tsung, you know, Shang-a-lang, Shang my man, that guy. Or as Raiden puts it in that freaking horrible 2D/3D animated movie that you got before you go to see the movie, Shang Tsung. Yeah, the acting quality was really bad in that one. Yeah, so Shang is just being there, talking about the coming tournament and the so-called prophecy of Earthrealm winning the tournament. So he decides to, you know, just send Sub-Zero to kill the combatants. Yeah, real great plan there, Shang Tsung. Totally hope it doesn't backfire on you. Spoiler, it will. Something like that. So anyway, back with Cole and his wife and daughter. They're just enjoying a generic diner until they see just a fall of snow come down on their lovely streets and realize, hey, it's not Christmas yet. And then, boom! Sub-Zero shows up, killing a bunch of everyone with icicles. Or basically missing with his icicles, but you gotta admit, it's cool that how he messes with the weather to basically turn it into ice and just throw it down as like ice shards. And then Cole is saved by Jax, who basically tells him, you know, he's chosen for the tournament, you know, to save Earthrealm and to fight the forces of Outworld, yada yada yada. Now, normally you think Jax would save them and bring them to Sonya like it showed in the trailer, but no, Jax is pretty much caught up by Sub-Zero and has Cole drive off as he goes to basically fight Sub-Zero by himself with no backup, mind you. Jax, you're gonna die. You are straight up gonna die. So anyway, yeah, Jax goes in to fight Sub-Zero, and we get our second fight scene of the movie, which is actually a really good fight scene. Although Jax gets tossed around like a sack of potatoes, or a ragdoll in Gmod if you want to be accurate. Oh, then also from what it showed from the trailer, he gets his arms frozen and ripped off. Fun fact, this is just one of the iterations of how Jax loses his arm. You want to know one of the other ways he loses it? A faulty hand grenade blows his arms off. Yeah, kind of sad for Jax now that I think about it. So anyway, cutting back to Cole, he's basically dropping his family off so he can go meet Sonya, so he can get all the explanations done and yada yada yada, something like that. And so, Cole Young starts walking down a dark, lonesome road, all by his lonesome with no friends. And then, out of nowhere, a shining light appears in front of him. And then a demon arises from that shining light from the depths of hell. And he said... Nothing, because there really wasn't a demon that appears in front of him. Something like that. I apologize for that. What he does find in front of him is the headquarters of one Sonya Blade. Sadly not played by Veronica Vaughn, if you all know that reference. You probably don't. I apologize if I make bad references that no one knows. Something like that. But of course, yeah, Cole ends up meeting Sonya, and she's worried about Jax. You know, Sonya, you'll be able to find him in the spot that he's laying in, and pieces of his arm here, there. Oh, and a little bit over there, too. Oh, yeah, and a bit on that ceiling, too, in chunks. So, yeah, you're going to have a pretty good time finding pieces of his arm and putting them back together. Then again, probably not, because then they'll be melty, and, you know, you wouldn't want to touch them. Ugh. Just thinking about that, touching melted, broken arm pieces. Ugh, that's not good. But anyway, so Sonya brings Cole into her secret base that her and Jax were holding, and thus just begins the exposition dump of Mortal Kombat, where also, if you look in the movie, you'll also see some nice little Easter eggs and references to other characters, like the image of the Great Kung Lao winning his first ever Mortal Kombat tournament against Shang Tsung. Sadly, not talking about his untimely death in the 9th tournament. Yeah, that movie doesn't really touch up on that. It barely even touches up on the champion, Goro. Until you'll probably see him later. Sort of. But anyway. So yeah, she drops the exposition dump about the Mortal Kombat tournament and saving Earthrealm and yada yada yada. Which kind of also brought me to thinking of a theory about this. I had a theory, or again, I'll probably talk about this at the end, which I probably will forget by the time I'm still recording this or anything, but we'll just move on from that. Moving on, of course, to Sonya's prisoner, Kano, of all people. And let me just say, the actor playing Kano in this movie is quite possibly the best part of the character. He plays Kano so well. He's funny, he's arrogant, he's crazy, and of course they brought back that Australian accent that the first Mortal Kombat movie brought in. You know, of course, one of his more famous lines they could have brought back for the movie is, "Hello, baby. Did you miss me?" Something like that. But yeah, Kano is possibly the best part of this movie. Sadly, though, that best part comes at a price where they are attacked again by one of Shang Tsung's minions. This, of course, being Reptile. Okay. I was kind of upset how they made Reptile look in this movie. Sadly, though, there is a Mortal Kombat game where he does have a lizard-like look, but he still has his ninja aspects. This movie didn't do that. They kept his invisibility move, though. They kept that in the movie. That's one positive we'll take from that. Oh yeah, and his name isn't Reptile in this movie, it's Sizoth. Which I looked up is his actual name before getting the name Reptile. Yeah, great name. Although, then again, technically Reptile is not much of a cool name either, so I'll give kudos to that for having that as his original name. But surprisingly, after Kano gets his eye scratched out, which of course will lead to him getting the robotic eye, something like that, he ends up killing Sizoth by doing his famous heart fatality and getting that really funny Kano wins line in it. And surprisingly, after the fight, he just happens to know where Raiden's little fortress is at. You could have really explained how he knew that, but then again, this movie's not going to explain a lot. So, they make their journey to the desert to find, not the temple yet, but Liu Kang actually pimping up in a really cool shot of him with the sunset behind him, or sun rising, I guess? I don't know, it's a sunset, basically. Oh, and he also gets a cool moment by knocking Kano out with one of his fireball moves, so kudos points to you, Liu Kang, aka played by Luddy Lin, who I'll talk about more at the end of this. So he basically takes them to Raiden's fortress, and then they're introduced to Kung Lao in a pretty cool way. Or just Kung Lao being there. And also they are met by Raiden, who doesn't really help much and just basically says, you know, you guys suck, you're no heroes of Earthrealm, I don't even know why I wasted my time, I'm just gonna pimp out of here, bye-bye people! Yeah, you know, something like that. But of course, you know, Cole says, you know, he wants to fight to save his family, and Raiden just says, yeah, we'll see what you can do. And throughout most of the movie, we just get a training montage of the heroes, and also them talking about, this is also brought up with the marks that they have for the tournament. I just thought at first they were just some kind of like weird new invitation, way to invite people to the tournament. But no, they are the way of getting people's powers, or their akane as something. You know, something like that. I really don't know what they're really doing with it or something. But it never really made any sense, but hey, at least it shows a way that they can get their powers, I guess, or something like that. Oh yeah, and Jax is there getting medical attention for his little stub arms that they gave. Yeah, they basically give him stub robot arms. It makes sense, because they're monks and they're not used to technology, so something like that. But anyway, it is now time to train for the tournament by sweeping Kano's leg a bunch of times. I swear I got a laugh out of that scene so many times watching it. Oh yeah, and Kano also shows off his powers in this, so yeah, there is that. Again, really weird way to show off them getting their powers, but hey, it's the movie's explanation, so we'll just go with it. However, not all is well in the worlds, for it turns out Shang Tsung knows about the Earthrealmers getting together and training. And Cabal even knows Kano. Considering in Cabal's backstory, Kano was the one who saved him from, you know, dying, basically, and gave him the apparatus to help him breathe, and maybe gave him his speed powers? I don't know. The backstory never really explained it. So, Cabal convinces Kano to basically let Shang Tsung in, and this is the point where Kano betrays the Earthrealmers and goes to side with Shang Tsung and basically takes over the world. Because, you know, it's Kano, he's gonna betray them because, you know, he'll do it for the highest bidder, and Shang Tsung, not sure how he ended up being rich for being an evil demon sorcerer that sucks 1,000 souls on a daily basis. Again, not sure how he gets rich, but he probably finds a way to, you know, do his finances. Maybe he uses souls as collateral or collective income. Who knows? Who knows? Speaking of Shang Tsung, he finally shows up and just lets his minions do the work. And thus, we get another pretty decent fight scene where, sorry about that. Where basically the heroes are no match for them. Not really match for any of them whatsoever. And they basically get their butts handed to them. Although Nitara, who was introduced into this movie from the trailer, she's here, basically gets killed, so her character was pretty much useless. But she gets a cool death, with Kung Lao, of course, saying, "Flawless victory." Or, I'll try to explain the death this way. So he basically jumps on her back, throws his hat to the ground, it starts spinning by itself because the hat has a mind of its own, and he forces her into the spinning buzzsaw hat, and she gets split in half. Dude, I'm already gonna say the fatalities in this movie are amazing. Oh yeah, and also, Shang Tsung kills Kung Lao, sucks out his soul. We, of course, also get the most infamous line that comes from Shang Tsung, "Your soul is mine." Something like that. And this Shang Tsung actually does it pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. And basically kills Kung Lao and eats his soul. Yeah, that actually came as a shock to me in this. Kung Lao dies by the hands of Shang Tsung. Really sad, people. Really, really sad. So, yeah. Cole basically rallies everyone to go after them and basically split them off into pairs so that they can fight him off easily, with Liu Kang facing Cabal, easily killing him with his fatal blow, really in an awesome way. Sonya easily killing Melina after she kills Kano and gets her Akane power, which of course is the energy ring, not the kiss of death, sadly, and easily killing Melina in the process. Jax easily killing off Raiko, which is probably the worst character in this movie, because he doesn't really get a line of dialogue. He just easily gets killed by Jax's Akane, which is his metal arms. Remember his little stubby metal arms, now growing big into fully functional metal arms. Something like that. And Cole now going to face Sub-Zero by himself. Oh yeah, I also should mention that Cole kills Goro in this movie. Yeah. Bland main character kills off one of the best, final bosses in all of Mortal Kombat. Bravo, movie, bravo. So yeah, he goes off to face Sub-Zero and realizes that Sub-Zero captured his family and easily can't take him out. That is until... Oh yeah, and also Raiden gave him the Blade of Hanzo, which would summon his spirit. It's never explained, but you knew Scorpion was going to be in this because we saw him in the trailers. And of course, we get a nice little rendition of the Mortal Kombat Techno Syndrome. And of course, we get the Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight we have been waiting to see since the trailer. And it does not disappoint, people. It's a really great fight scene. The second fight scene that they have with their powers is amazing. And of course, we get that cool little move where Sub-Zero, slices Scorpion's back up, and he, freezes his blood midair and grabs, a blood blade. That is probably the coolest moment you'll ever get in this fight scene. Oh yeah, and Cole does a little 2-on-1 against Sub-Zero, and they easily beat him. And Scorpion does, of course, his Hellfire fatality, burning Sub-Zero to a crisp. Although all the dead people get teleported by Shang Tsung when he appears again, and basically is talking about the prophecy not coming true and stuff like that, and just Raiden basically scares him away, and that's it. Well, then, of course, the movie also does end with getting us a little tease of the sequel that we'll possibly get, with, of course, Johnny Cage. Oh, it's gonna be Ninja Mime and Citizen Cage up in here, people.